A really good question I get asked is when you're doing renovations, whether you're flipping or whether you're keeping, would you use a project manager or would you hire the trades individually? And it's a good question. So it depends is the answer. Of course, like so many things in property, excuse me, just get my sleeves ready to go. This is Barcelona, we are heading to the beach, but let's see whether we make the beach in this video. We've got 4 minutes to go. I live 9 minutes away from the beach here. Typically, I wouldn't use, it depends the size of your project. If you are doing a project over, say, 200 to 250,000 pounds, I would absolutely use a project manager, quantity surveyor, but be very mindful of their contracts. I have looked at using project managers in the past, and when I read through their contracts, they basically go, yeah, we'll do the job, but guess what? If it goes wrong, it's not our fault. And it's like, no, that's precisely, I'm not trying to do a blame game, but using you in order to ensure that it doesn't go wrong is precisely why I'm going to pay you the money. So if you want to have no liability, then I don't really want to have a contract with you. So be mindful of the kind of like weaselly out clauses when project managers say it's nothing to do with me, mate, when you're like, it is, you did it. The typical project that you're probably going to do, particularly if you're relatively new to flipping or relatively new to property, is a kind of 5, 10, 15, 20, up to a 40 or 50 grand project. At that point, it is not really cost effective to use a separate project manager because there just isn't enough spare there isn't enough spare profit probably in a classic renovation at kind of 40, 50 grand. There just really isn't, using a professional quantity surveyor or a professional project manager. So at that point, you're then into two choices, aren't you? You know, do you hire the trades individually? Oh my word, you're going to be like herding cats. You're going to have like, and trades are brilliant, and I really enjoy working with folks in the building industry, but they are also slightly known occasionally for saying it wasn't my fault, Gov. So, you know, I've definitely had instances where a painter says, well, the fact that the paint finish is rubbish is not my fault, it's because, I don't know, the plasterer didn't tidy up after himself. Well, although that's technically true, and maybe the plasterer didn't leave a site that was immaculate, so that is your job in a way as the project manager to go, oi mate, you need this cleaned up before you get paid and before we release you from the job. Any grown-up human being, if they wanted to do a great job, wouldn't be like, oh, I don't care if it's a bad finish. They would clean the site first as a painter, wouldn't they? So, but you will get that a lot with individual trades. And if you've never done a project and you're now discovering it, it's not you, it's just kind of what happens. So really, do you do individual trades and maybe try and keep the price low, particularly if you're not looking to reclaim VAT, and some of the builders are VAT registered, for example, or you do a builder? Me, I started off by doing individual trades, and that was because I was really conscious of every penny, and I also really wanted to learn, and it is a baptism of fire, and you will learn, but you will also have some mistakes because you're trying to coordinate everybody, and you know, electricians and plumbers are running around and they're trying to do projects, and half a day here, 2 days there, 5 days here, so you're trying to pull everybody together like a jigsaw puzzle. So these days I like to work with smaller, if I'm doing smaller refurb projects like 40, 50 grand, I'll work with smaller builders who have everything in-house. Now typically what they'll have then, they'll have a couple of guys who are just labourers. They may have a couple of specialities like in-house, maybe they've grown through, if you like, the business, and they're maybe a joiner or a plumber or a plasterer, and they've thought, you know what, or a brickie, I'm gonna actually run a small business. And typically, but not always, they will be bringing in as individual contractors the electrician and the plumbing, but they'll have people that they work with all the time. So that's the kind of size of business that I'll be working with normally if I'm doing a kind of 20, 30, 40, 50 grand refurb. So you are still in charge, but what you then do is you're consulting with, contracting with one firm where the guy, it's usually a guy, I've never worked with a female builder yet, it's usually a guy, the guy's in charge really, and he doesn't get paid until the work is done. So then you use contracts, don't you? Minor works contract, JCB, download it from their website, and also it's got a real advantage. Whoop, thank you very much. There we go. It's got a real advantage of the fact that you're going to end up speccing out the project really well. It's going to be contracted properly. Both parties are sort of forced to come to the table to talk through the contract. So by the time the project is ongoing, you should have talked well through, and both parties should really understand what's needing to be done. So there you go, there's my answer. 200, 250 and above, 100% use a project manager in terms of spend. 150 to 200, really borderline. If you're experienced, don't. If you're inexperienced, do. But if you're inexperienced, don't start at that kind of refurb, start lower. And then 50 grand and below, no, just use one firm of builders, minor works contract, and have a proper contract with a proper payment schedule, and Bob's your uncle, or in my case, my dad. Right, you got a few things. If this was useful, be lovely and give it a like. That'd be so kind, because it will help other people see the videos. If you have questions, I tend to answer quite a lot of the questions, so do put a question in the comments. If maybe somebody's struggling with renovation right now and you feel like, you know what, this video is going to be quite useful, just fling it on to them, send it on in the share button. And also, you may have seen already, you may never been to my website, I've got a cracking website for you, absolutely stacked full of knowledge and content that you can download straight away from thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk. See you soon, and I wish you all the success with your developments. If what we've put out for you guys really works for you, then fabulous. Support our channel, click the like button, and thank you so much.